Good evening. Welcome to the September 2024 meeting of the City of Revere Affordable Housing Trust Fund Board. My name is Joe Gravelisi. I serve as chair of the board as the appointee of Mayor Keefe. And before we begin the meeting, in recognition of the anniversary today of September 11th, I'd ask that we all just take a brief moment of silence. Thank you. So we'll begin by taking attendance. So Joe Gravelisi, chair, I'm present. Claire and Zerillo, I had seen on Zoom and I think dropped off, so we'll see if we get her back, but I'm not here for now. Anayo?
Present.
Okay. Lori Manzo is not here. Hope you're feeling better, Lori. Dean Harris.
Present.
Matt Wolfer.
Present.
Layla Pietri.
Present.
And Deb Frank.
Present.
Right. And then from the city, Tom Skorosky and Lorena Escalero send their regards. They weren't able to make it today, so we have some updates and information from them, but certainly continue to appreciate their work with us. So moving ahead to the next items on the agenda, some of our standing items. So first is ratification of the minutes for August, which have been uploaded from the previous meeting. Mostly kind of informative items, not so many, major action items, but does anyone have any objection to ratification of the previous meeting's minutes? Seeing none. Ratified. So next is the treasurer's update, so an update on current funds, so I'll send that to Anayo.
Sure. Good evening, everyone. This is the current balance for the Affordable Housing Trust Committee of Revere. It's $652,902.64. This is an increase of $5,447.73 from the previous statement. This is coming from Sota Newton, the Assistant Director, Budget Director of the City of Revere, the Auditor's Office. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. So the next item is, and I don't see anyone from JM Goldson on the call, so we may have to relay back. But I know that we wanted to make sure to give everyone an opportunity to take an additional month, some time to review and look at the draft strategic plan that we'd all worked on. I feel really strongly that it's in a really good spot. I have no, proposed changes to it. I looked through it. Everything looks tidy. I didn't see typos. I thought it was great. And I think it's really reflective of a great iterative process by the entire board. That said, if anyone did have comments or questions, I think if they're questions, we're going to have to take them down and pass them along. But if there are comments or feedback or anything, wanted to open it up for that. Terrific. And I think we're probably one meeting max away from actually having that drafted, which is really exciting. And that'll help kind of guide our work moving forward. So thank you for that. And thank you everyone for your work on that. So next, we have a few updates on some ongoing programs. First is the Veterans Lottery for 133 Salem Street, and the lottery in general. So as some of you know, well, some of you participated, you all know, and many people know who are watching, a lottery was conducted last month for the affordable condominiums, the deed-restricted affordable condominiums as part of the Northern Strand project at 133 Salem Street. The Affordable Housing Trust Fund was instrumental in growing the amount of affordable units as part of that project, so it was an honor for us to be part of it and to help support. You did a wonderful job, Matt, of facilitating the lottery and helping kind of pull the different codes, and it was a learning process for all of us. I had, despite being involved in this kind of work, I'd never actually been physically present at one of the lotteries, so seeing how they work and the codes that go with them and how they come up with the codes and things like that was interesting. But now everyone's been given a priority order from the Revere preference units as well as the general pool units. And from that now it's going through the process of those that were picked in order. Are they going to A, take up the offer of, being one of the people whose numbers were called, B, qualify for a mortgage, be able to make the down payment which may include applying for down payment assistance, which we can get to. So for the folks, and I know we had some questions, and I think most people that had questions have had those questions answered in the last couple of weeks, but for people that were like a few numbers below, or even 10 or 15 numbers below the line, for numbers picked for the lottery, there's certainly still an opportunity that eventually, it would come to you, depending on how many people either don't choose to purchase the unit, or may not qualify, or may change their mind, or something like that. So that process continues to move forward. Before we get to the veterans piece, does anyone have any questions or thoughts or feedback on the general lottery? The pieces of feedback that I received, which I think we all agree with and are gonna, one is serious, one is a slight joke, implement if we were to, help facilitate another lottery. One is, I think once the codes are all pulled, there should be a spreadsheet on the back end that links those codes to names immediately. That was sent out to everyone who entered, but I think it would be helpful for sort of the viewing audience, for people that are watching, to see the names that are associated with the codes as soon as the lottery is complete. I think you were there, so I think that seemed to be consistent feedback, and that seems doable, so I think that's something that we're gonna be able to do moving forward. The other piece of feedback, which is true, but slightly humorous, is that wheel they used to spin. It made a lot of noise. I think we got to get like a new wheel to put the numbers in. But we appreciate everyone's participation in that. It was certainly an honor to be a part of it, and an honor for us as a board to help contribute to that project. So the next phase of that is the Veterans Preference Lottery. So there are 2 units as part of this development that have been set aside as Veterans Preference. And while those that are in the general pool will be eligible to be pulled for these 2 units, so people that were already in the pool could be pulled for this lottery. A special period was opened up, specifically for veterans to apply, because we had a veteran that applied and was picked for the initial lottery, which was great. But it was for one of the 2-bedroom units, so it was a 1-bedroom and a studio that were held aside for this Veterans Preference Lottery. And we did not have any veteran applicants at the time. So a decision was made to extend the window for applications and do some more marketing, and just make sure that we make every effort and every attempt, right, to find any veteran that might be interested in this opportunity and might qualify for it. So I've worked with the mayor's office, and you've probably all seen, the press release that went out about it. There was some social media posting about it. I've been in touch with the Veteran Services Office, and, urging them to kind of get that word out to different events or things where veterans may be. Certainly, for anyone that's watching on TV, as well as all of us here, continue to spread the word. The deadline for these applications is Friday, the end of the day Friday. People can apply online, and there's a link on our page for the Affordable Housing Trust to get to that application. You can also have an application emailed to you. You can print it out at home, or you can come to City Hall, the Mayor's Office, Veteran Services Office. They can print it for you. You can have a paper copy of it and have that submitted for you. And I'm available to answer questions for folks. We've had a few questions come in about what determines eligibility and how people can apply and things like that. So for those questions, feel free to reach out to me. It's Jay Gravelese, GRAVELLESE @revere.org, and working to answer those questions as quickly as they come in. So as of this morning, we had 2 applicants, 2 veteran applicants for this lottery, for the 2 units, right? So we don't know if they're eligible. That process still needs to be determined, if they're eligible and they qualify. We would certainly love to have additional veteran applicants, make sure that these 2 units that are set aside as veterans preference go to veterans. That would be everyone's goal. If we don't have 2 qualified veteran applicants, then someone from the initial pool of applicants would get the other unit, or possibly both if we don't have any. So that's where that stands. Does anyone have any questions about that process, or where it's at, or eligibility, or anything like that? Good. You've all been on top of it from the beginning, so I think you all know, how it works. But please keep spreading the word. So there's a press release that the mayor's office put out. Share it on Facebook, share it on Instagram, LinkedIn, print it out, send it to your friends, send it to your relatives. We would love to get a few more veteran applicants.
This information they sharing on the Revere TV too?
Yes.
Okay.
And they're hearing me now, so I'll say it again, but I'll also swing in and remind them if they can put it on, make sure it's on that bulletin board, and if it doesn't say the deadline being Friday, let's add that. So I'll reach out, thank you for that, and we'll make sure that that's included in the information that's going through on Revere TV. So we continue to move forward with that, and we'd love to see a few more applications come in. The next update I have is on the first-time homebuyer down payment assistance program. So this is another thing that, we've put in months of kind of groundwork to this, and now it's happening, which is exciting. The application went out after the last meeting, so we had our meeting last month. The application went live, I think, the following Monday, online as well as physically in the Planning and Community Development Office. I believe it's a total of 7 applications that have come in so far. And a process is underway. So myself and Lorena are the ones reviewing and verifying the documentation that comes in, ensuring that people have met the residency rules, the income rules, the asset rules, et cetera. Once 5 people, the first 5 people whose applications are complete and they demonstrate their eligibility, those would be the ones that receive the assistance. And if someone applies and their application is incomplete, which I can say, and some of you who applied, you'll be getting responses from us. Most of the applications are missing something, which is not anyone's fault. It's just confusing. There's a lot of information to include. They'll be given a listing of the things that they need to reply with to show their eligibility. And every item that comes in for an application gets a timestamp, either the online timestamp for people that submit online, which is everyone so far, or if anyone does submit it on paper, there's a physical stamp that'll be stamped with the exact time the documents were received in the Planning and Community Development Office. And that timeline, right, which will be totally transparent, anyone can see exactly what time any applications came in. That'll determine the order of the first 5 eligible folks that fully completed the application and demonstrated their eligibility. So as a reminder, so that is a combination of support we received from a state earmark by our legislative delegation, which was originally going to be 5,000, and we per 5 applicants, and then we voted to match that. So that'll end up being 10,000, and that tax on to other programs that people might be eligible for, right? So that should hopefully open up some windows for people that are looking to buy their first home in the city. So that's exciting.
So these grants have been, are being reviewed without a purchase and sale agreement, correct?
So part of the process is qualifying, right? But then the actual purchase and sale may not be complete yet.
Okay, so is there a period of time between qualification and a purchase and sale? Is there some?
So there is, and I'm going to, I don't remember it off the top of my head. So, but let me pull up that application and I'll send it to you and have you take a look at it. But we will get that totally clarified to make sure there's no confusion on that piece. But thank you for bringing that up. Other questions on this, where things are at with this program? Really grateful, both for the state delegation and also for the city's support in making this happen. This is another one too, because there's still time to apply, even though we had more than 5 applicants, we don't know that they'd all be eligible, so we urge people to apply. So keep spreading the word, spread it around, we'd love to get more applications in. Okay, any other questions on this piece? No? So the other update that I have is on the disposition of city-owned and tax title properties. So I think, as you all know, there's a number of properties that through the tax title process, or it's like surplus property, are under control of the city. And there's going to be an RFP process for the redevelopment of these properties, ideally as affordable housing, or potentially as a way to bring in revenue to the trust. If it's not affordable housing itself, it may be sold at market rate and come in. Tom and Lorena are working on sort of developing that RFP process to create the most advantageous proposals possible, to allow us to either maximize affordable housing on these lots or maximize revenue that can come in to support affordable housing. The first piece of it is there was also a selection of a broker to help us with sort of the marketing and listing of these properties. And city staff is going to begin meeting with this person to kind of begin the process of getting these properties moving, getting them fixed up if they need to be fixed up, and moving towards getting things built on them. So that's a process that's ongoing as well. I think, like I said, we're kind of in an in-between state right now because that RFP isn't out there yet, but things are moving, we're getting closer to it. And I would say that unless anyone has any other major thoughts, you know, that's gonna be our next big project, right? Like, we kind of spent a number of months digging into doing an ownership opportunity, which ended up being 133 Salem Street. We spent a number of months on the strategic planning process. And I think the next, and the down payment assistance program, the next thing that's gonna require legwork from all of us, in between meetings and, you know, kind of continuing ongoing, notice, is, this disposition of tax title properties, right? And how they're gonna be utilized and how they can be redeveloped in a way to bring some affordable housing into the community. So, stay tuned. You all should have been sent around some information from Tom about those properties, but if not, I'll resend it and they'll all be uploaded as part of the minutes as well. Any questions about that aspect?
This is the same that is included on the housing plan that we have working now? Or is a different way we're gonna work this, the city-owned property tax?
Yeah, so these are just some properties that are either that city-owned or like came into the tax title process. So this isn't, I'm not talking about like the master planning process. This is just for specific properties that are going to be essentially declared surplus and given to the trust for us to utilize for sort of disposition as either development of affordable housing or, like I said, market rate, right? I mean, there may be revenue opportunities to utilize for affordable housing. The city had a zoning analysis done of the properties to help kind of give a sense of what is legally allowable as well as what is reasonably conceivable, you know, for use of the properties. So that'll help craft what's there. And I think you all should have seen that, but like I said, I'll send that around to everyone if you haven't seen it yet. Okay. Other questions on that one?
Is there a time frame for this particular project?
Not yet.
Okay.
So I think there's a few moving pieces that need to be pinned down. The first one is done, so that's getting the marketing and brokerage piece of it and getting a person in to do that. And that's Nick Darr, Broad Sound Real Estate, was the winner of the RFP for that. Next step is going to be actually developing the RFP for the properties themselves. And then there'll be a window for people to apply. There'll be an evaluation period for the RFPs, which I think that this whole board is going to have some input in that process, both of kind of looking at the RFP before it goes out and thinking through, you know, how they're going to be evaluated, those that apply for proposals. And then if there's other things that we want to do in conjunction with these to help guide them along, right? If there's ways that we want to try to bring in grant support or fund things in a way that might increase the number of affordable units or do a certain type of project that we're more interested in, like we'll have opportunities to kind of weigh in on that. So it's not going to be immediate. It's going to be, you know, it's going to take some time to work through it. But it'll be, the gears are moving on it. You know, we're under, the first piece is done and now we're kind of getting ready for that next piece of it. So hopefully that answers your question. Yeah. Other questions, comments? Like I said, this is was more of an update meeting. So hopefully it was helpful, kind of a snapshot on where things are. I know that I think last month or the month before we had like an hour-and-a-half meeting. Yeah, and sometimes that happens and sometimes we get one of these. So does anyone else have any other items, late items for the agenda, things that you feel like we missed or you want to just bring up for discussion for moving forward? If not, then today is one of the short ones. So I guess we'll balance off that long one from last month with the short one today. Appreciate everyone's time, everyone's continued commitment. What's that? Oh, we do always, you know, have the opportunity for public comment, you know, for folks that are in the audience, if you wish to.
Are you speaking to me?
Yes.
What do you want to know?
Well, you have the opportunity to ask questions or make any comments on anything
Well, I
as
can
a.
hardly hear you, to tell you the truth.
Okay. Well, do you wish to provide any questions or comments or feedback on?
I don't have any questions.
Okay.
Because, I don't know what you do.
Okay. Were you,
I really don't know what you do, but that's why I came here to
Oh.
find out. I'm scanning all of these commissions to find out what they do.
sure. Okay, what was your name, by the way, just for the
I
record?
can't even hear
Yeah,
you,
okay.
Second is, I don't know what you do. I know you're involved with housing.
Mm-hmm,
Okay, to build housing, you have a certain budget that you have to use to produce housing for the needy. Affordable housing, because anybody could see that housing today is not affordable.
sure.
Not for the working man, anyway, okay? And to go out and buy a house that somebody built for $16,000 and bought the land for $200, okay? And now they have to spend $500,000 for the same house that's 60 years old or 70 years old. I mean, I can understand building housing for affordable people.
Sure.
But you see, they're not doing that. They're not doing that because I see housing being built on, in Malden and they're all empty. And they want $4,000 for rent. So I don't see the meaning, more or less, okay? They're building plenty of housing, okay? And they'll build you a house for $1,500,000, but they're not gonna build you a house for $40,000, $50,000. But at the same time, in Boston, a corporation just bought a building because they can't sell it, and they bought it cheap. Did you see that today?
This was today? I missed it if there was something today, yeah.
They
Mhm.
bought a complex, a building, an industrial, a new building, an industrial building. Who knows how much they spent, because they're building buildings in Boston. I come from Boston, prior to when they ripped down my neighborhood in the West End, you understand? And they build all kinds of but not for me. You understand? And today I see the same thing. They're building all kinds of housing, but not for me. You know why? I'm 93 years old. I don't know of anybody that can go out and purchase, a working individual who's
Sure.
worked all his life, that can go out and buy a home at these prices today.
Sure.
And I don't see that, they have cheap interest rates to build the economy, but where is the housing to build the economy for these people that they want to work?
Sure. Yeah, I really appreciate that. Thank you for the comment. Would you mind just stating your name and address for the record?
My name is Anthony Cantino, and I live at 240 Suffolk Avenue, Revere, Massachusetts.
Thank you so much, and really appreciate
Originally,
that.
I come from the North End.
Okay.
Then I went to the West End when they took me to Sicily, and I came back prior to the war beginning. I lived in the West End most of my life,
Yeah.
my young life.
Sure.
My adult life, 22 and on, has been in Revere. And I really never participated in any of these meetings or what you have, because I've been working my
Sure.
own business.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yep.
And we, in more or less so many ways, we collide.
Sure.
Last, what was it? August 29th, I believe, I was at that huge building, that those people who lived in that building, showed,
Yep.
a disaster.
Yeah.
A total disaster.
Yeah.
Unlivable for 7 years. The health department, I was at the health department the month before on video, and I explained to the health people what the city of Revere was doing to me, okay? And then I see the following month, what the city of Revere and the corporation is doing to these people. The city is trying, they want things fixed, they want things done, but these corporations, these conglomerates, don't want to do anything for them. That's the problem.
Yeah, no,
They
Yeah.
want the cheap interest rates. you
Right,
understand?
right.
For themselves, not for the people
Right.
who need housing.
Sure. Yeah, I really appreciate that, and thank you for, yeah, of course. No, I mean, that's what,
I didn't know I had such an influence on
of course. So no, we really, really appreciate it. You know, I think we're all here to do our small part, right? Like, it's such a huge problem. We're here to do our small piece of it.
It's a sad problem.
It is, it is.
People have to sleep in their car.
Yeah, yeah,
I remember they wouldn't let you on the parking lot, let alone let you sleep in your car.
yeah, yeah. No, it is a significant problem all over the state.
It's a
Without a doubt.
different world.
It is. Yes, sir.
Excuse me, sir, I'm sorry, if you're gonna address the council, can you use the microphone? It's just, I can't really pick you up with you that far away, if you're making an
Sure.
official point about it.
Yeah, if you have any further,
Oh, you want me to go on?
Well, if you're gonna,
Well,
if you're making one to the TV, I can't.
okay, no worries.
That's what I had to say.
Well, I appreciate,
On the,
No, we're still, until you
Yeah.
tell me I can go.
I missed
Yep.
an opportunity. I
No.
didn't want that to be on television.
well, you still technically have the opportunity.
You got the message.
I do. So Anthony, I definitely encourage you to come to future meetings. So it's the second Wednesday of every month.
I can't.
So it's the second Wednesday of every month at 6:30 is when we host these meetings.
Well, I watch
Yeah.
the channel.
Yeah.
I get all the information.
Fantastic. So come on.
Channel 9.
Yeah. Yep.
I watch Channel 9.
Yeah.
And I get all the information, the scheduling and
Terrific.
so forth.
Yeah.
If not, I go on Google or YouTube and I get everything anyway. So
Terrific.
most people don't know that you people are on YouTube.
Yeah, we are. Yep.
Last week, if I recall, last week, Channel 9 was off. They didn't have any power to run the station for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 6 days. They couldn't show you people on Channel 9. And there was a very important session regarding that huge apartment
Yeah.
building there. And I wanted the public to see it, see
Yeah.
what's going on. Look at what's going on to these people, housing, and the city is trying to fix all the regulations, and the owner of the property, hey, I don't want to do anything.
Yeah.
And they're in court, you know, they've been in court for seven years. I mean, and these people are living under those conditions for 7 years. And the city and the conglomerate, the owners of that building, and the lawyers, and, you know, everybody's making money. You know what I mean? Except the people who are living there. They're having a huge problem with previous fires, fire alarms that don't work, mold, filth, people living in garages, homeless people living in garages, starting fires and so on. And nobody has been able to get, so finally they went before the health department, and guess what? The judge, hey, what are you people doing? That's awful. They've been in her courtroom for 7 years.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is sad. I appreciate the fact that you care. Yeah, thank you. Well, thank you for your passion, and thank you for being here, and come back anytime. Well, I think that leaves us with a lot to think about. and a reminder of why we're here, so thank you for that. With that, any further questions, comments, thoughts? Okay, on that note, motion to adjourn?
Second.
Second.
Okay, any objection? So ordered. All right.